do is you put a fa here, and a ayn here, and a lam here. Say, okay, this one falls on fa, this one falls on ayn, this meme falls on lam. How about ta and ya? They don't fall on any of these. Okay? So what you do is you make the exact same word here. You replace everything that was part of the original root word with fa, ayn, and lam. And anything extra, you just keep it. So you keep the ta, okay, but you replace the ayn with fa. And you don't know this yet. This is just an example of how things work. You'll learn this later, inshallah. So don't worry about this, but if you get the idea, that's the important thing. So you get rid of the ayn and replace it with fa. This is the other root word, ayn. So you replace it with ayn. And then the ya, since it's not against fa, ayn, or lam, then you just duplicate it here. And then finally you replace the meme with lam. So this becomes taf'eel. Ta'leem becomes taf'eel. In other words, ta'leem is the same, it rhymes with taf'eel. Or it is, when you scale it, it becomes taf'eel. When you scale it against fa, ayn, lam, you just get rid of the original letters, ayn, lam, and meme, and replace those with fa, ayn, lam, because we know the scale is fa, ayn, and lam. That's the scale, right? So you just use these, and anything that falls out of these, you duplicate those. We duplicated ta here and the ya here. So now we know that anything that comes against fa, ayn, and lam in this word is part of the root word. Anything that falls out of it is not part of the root word. So from ta'leem, looking at ta'leem, if you know as-sarf, if you know some rules of as-sarf, you would look at the word ta'leem and you would think about it, and you would be able to tell immediately that ayn, lam, meme is the root word. In other words, ilm is the root word here. Ilm is the root word. Just by looking at it, you will be able to tell once you know some rules of the Arabic language. So the idea here is that we use fa, ayn, lam to weigh or to scale words, and anything that falls on fa, ayn, lam is part of the root word. Anything out of it will not be root word. But you don't know now. How do you know, for example, that ta doesn't fall on fa? That ta is not the original root word, or that ya is not part of the, you would know that later, inshallah. Now you don't know. You could, with the knowledge that we have right now, ta could as easily be an original letter, or ya could be an original letter, and not and be part of the root word. But for now, know that they use fa, ayn, and lam to scale words. That's what they do in the Arabic language. You should have some questions now. That's perfectly normal.
What's the word in Arabic for root words?
For root word, we will come to that, inshallah.
Yeah.
Actually, that's a few steps down. But let's get this out of the way first, because this is not not a very easy concept. How many of us are lost here? Do anybody else was lost? You lost it? Okay. So I don't know how I got it myself. So I wish I remembered so that I could explain it in that way. But I guess it took a while for me to.
Yeah, what you said makes sense, but the application is not there at all. So
Yeah. Well, don't worry about the application. If you know that fa, ayn, lam is used to weigh words, and anything that falls, that rhymes with fa, ayn, and lam, okay, that's part of the root word. Anything out of it is extra letters that have been added to give the word a certain meaning, then you're fine. You know that much.
So, when you learn Arabic, would you usually memorize all the roots?
Well, if you know one root, for example, ayn, you would have to know ayn, for example. You would have to know that. So that's part of the learning the Arabic language itself, vocabulary, where you will learn the root word, and then from that you can derive. So the thing is, if you know one root word, you will know perhaps 50 or 100 other words that you will encounter.
And you'll see the root in all those words.
Right.
So is that how you would? Is that how you would know exactly those letters in every word by just memorizing the word?
No. Actually, the science of sarf will help you. What you're learning, this will help you find out the root word.
I see. Even if you don't know the roots.
If you don't know the roots, yeah. Sometimes you will see, if you know the root, that makes your job that much easier. But if you don't know the root and you see a certain form, then you know what are the original. For example, anytime you see this form, ta', taf'il, ta'lim, tasjeel, or whatever that rhymes with that, you know exactly which letters are part of the root word and which are extra. Anytime you see this, you know that the ta is extra, the ya is extra, but this, and this are original. Here you can see that ayn. So suppose you know ta'lim has a certain meaning. Now you know that these are the extra, right? The ta and the ya will be extra. So anything that when you translate into fa and lam, the extra letter will show up in the translation. The root words will not show up because they will be replaced by fa, ayn, and lam. So if I ask you right now a different word, but which rhymes with the same form, for example, ta'lim. Okay. How many of you know which letters belong to the root word and which ones don't?
علاقة.
Yeah. So we know the root word is ayn, lam, qaf. This is the root word. How do we know? Because we looked at this form. We already have some familiarity with this form. That in this form, the ta and the ya always appear. No matter what the word is, ta'lim, taf'il, ta'lim, tasjeel, the ta and the ya will always be there. So whatever is always there, those are the extra letters. And the rest are the root word. So you know that ta repeats itself here, here, and here also. And then you have ya here, and here, and here. So that must be the extra letter. Anything other than those are the original. Ayn here, lam, and qaf. Ayn, lam, qaf. And ayn, lam, mim here. A couple more examples.